I feel like some of the best sports guys ever have always had that mentality. So they shoot that same jump shot 14,000 times. So when it's Game 7 in the NBA Finals, it's muscle memory at that point.
Yep.
But I think we practice that a lot here internally, and we're doing this with one of our current projects, like rehearsal after rehearsal after rehearsal. But I felt we've done a pretty good job over the last year or so. When we show up on site, we've done it so many times already that it's not a huge stressful event because we know what may go wrong, and we know our backup plan to the backup plan. I've talked a lot about this during this podcast, but that just reiterated another part of it where if you practice enough, there's no fear because work ethic eliminates it.
Yeah. And, one thing, because of the industry and then just our, internal thought processes, we're always trying to push it. So if we went 6 months of doing the exact same thing where we were like, this is easy, clockwork.
Yeah.
I think we would get a little nervous or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're not stretching our capabilities. We're not figuring out how to do new things. So
I remember in the beginning of our company, the first 6 months, you and I, every time we had a phone call, we would go into the conference room, or at that point my bedroom, and talk out the call for 30 minutes before the call. How's it going to go? Are you going to lead? Am I going to lead? And especially when it came to any kind of negotiation with the client, we would have an hour and a half long meeting that week about, okay, we have to call on Thursday, so let's whiteboard out. And now I feel like, if we had a sit down meeting with Mark Cuban in an hour, like, all right, let's do it.
Right.
Just because we've done it so much. But in the beginning, it was like all this preparation. What are we going to do? And emails to clients, we would spend 30 minutes on, and you would read every word I say and vice versa. And now emails, you just send it out and do your thing. But I think that in the beginning stages to make sure you got it right was important. And now it's like clockwork, like you mentioned.
Well, I think partially that is to do, we just didn't have that much work to do.
That's true, too.
Everything, it was like, everybody wanted to pour all their efforts into the one output that we were doing.
The business,
which was like sales and going out.
The business hinged on that one email to see if they said yes or whatever.
Right, and now it's like we have so many other things going on. It's like,
but I do think since we've done it, since we've been on 1,000 calls now, or been to hundreds of different sit-down meetings, it just becomes like very easy, and you can do it in your sleep.
After almost 4 years of doing all these kind of projects, what prep do we need?
Yeah,
we've
exactly.
already done the project.
That's true.
So if somebody brings something up, I have, we've got all those in the can. We're going to say like, oh, for this project we did this. Is this something that could work potentially?
Right.
So it's a lot more of a conversation now than it is a pitch at all, which I like as a sales. Like, I don't like to be sold to anyway. I like to have a conversation where if it's a good fit, it's a good fit. If not, no biggie.
And you almost feel like sometimes you're name dropping, but it's like, well, this just makes sense to what you're talking about. Here's what we did very similar to what you're talking about for this client.
Right.
And just ends up being like, yeah, we can do that because we just
really
did that.
Yeah, it's just explaining case studies, and those usually help.